Hi everybody. Today's book is The Arabic Quilt, an Immigrant Story. And I hope I get the names pronounced close to right, by Aya Khalil, illustrated by Aniat Semirdzhyan. I hope I got that close to right. And it's one of the books I got from my library bag. It's a library book from the library. Okay. Before I start reading this book, why do I like this book? I got this book. I was interested in this one because I have been to Arabia, but I don't live there, but I've been there for a couple of times, and I was fascinated with their textiles. I was fascinated with their craft, fascinated with the jewelry, fascinated with the people in Arabia, who are a lot like us. And I got some things from them, and one of the things I got, doesn't this look like a tiger? This guy, this is a hand-sewn tapestry, a beautiful tapestry. It looks like a tiger. So that's one thing, and I got that when this last one, I got the last one when I was in Iraq, and look at that guy. It's so big. It's a big guy. It's a big tiger, and it could have been maybe made in Persia, but I don't know if it was or not. But if you ever kind of look at this, you see how closely all these little sewings are. These beautiful sewings, and it's so real. And so that's something I got over there. But this is a beautiful tapestry that came from Pennsylvania. This is a different kind of weaving, right? It's a different kind of weaving, and that came from Pennsylvania. And this came from somebody we love, Mimi, and this is her sewing. So I really thought that the title of this book, The Arabic Quilt, was kind of interesting to me. So here we go. It's kind of long, and you might hear the dogs bark. The Arabic Quilt, an Immigrant Story. And I like thinking about this at Thanksgiving time, because we celebrate Thanksgiving for the blessings of the pilgrims who came over. Well, they were a bunch of immigrants too. So they immigrated here. The Arabic Quilt. Titocha and Gecko, my bilingual twins, Eula and Yana. And so there's writing instruments, and there's color pencil instruments. I like colored pencils too. Here we go. Kanza, Habati, you're going to be late for the first day of school, Mama calls. I'm coming, Mama. Kanzi stuffs her notebook into her backpack and quickly but carefully folds her quilt, the special one Titya made in Egypt. And she's getting the quilt ready. Breakfast is delicious. Egyptian fava beans, homemade French toast, and watermelon with feta cheese and mint. Zachariah has watermelon juice dripping down from his chin. He looks happy. I packed your favorite lunch for you, kofta sandwiches, Baba explains. Shukran, Baba. I know how to pronounce that word. That means thank you. Shukran, Baba, Kanzi says. But secretly, she wishes her Baba would pack her peanut butter and jelly sandwich instead. Her family has just moved to this town, and she doesn't know anyone, and she doesn't want to be different. So they're getting ready, and she has her lunch packed, and they made her traditional food. And so here she goes. She's going to school. She's going to school now. She's got a red car. They're going to school. They're in America. Look, there's an American flag. and they're going to say, "Welcome, third grade." Isn't that great? In the car, Mama sings along with the songs on the Arabic radio channel. And when they pull up to school, Kanzi turns down the radio volume. Mama gives her a confused look. "Good luck today," Mama says. "Babchak." "I love you too," Kanzi responds. So, I know from context, Bahabak, I hope I got that right, means something like "I love you." And so she's getting dropped off at school. And the mom says, "I love you." She says it in her favorite language, in her home language. In class, Mrs. Hagen and all the students share 3 facts about themselves. When it's Kanzi's turn, she says bravely, "I am Egyptian American. I'm Egyptian American. I love to swim. I love to write poetry." And she sits looking down at her desk. And then here she's meeting other people. It's going to lunchtime. But she looks a little sad. She does look a little sad. Let's find out what's happening. At lunchtime, Kanzi is surprised when Mama walks through the door. "Habiti, you forgot your lunchbox." Uh-oh. "Habiti? Like the Hobbit? Isn't your name Kanzi?" Molly snickers. Uh-oh, she's gonna get a little tease here. Classmates laugh with her, and they walk to the cafeteria. So the mom came and gave her lunchbox, and she left it at home. I wonder if she left it at home on purpose. And then these other girls snickered at her. That wasn't nice. Mrs. Hagen sees tears rolling down Kanzi's cheek. "What's wrong?" she asked. "Molly made fun of what my mama said," Kanzi replies. "Oh, Kanzi, being bilingual is beautiful," says Mrs. Hogan. "Don't let anyone make you feel ashamed. You are special." And it's special when you can speak 2 languages. It really is. And here they go. They're back at home. School is over and they're back at home. And she's getting ready for tomorrow. And here she is wrapped up in her quilt. And she's writing something. That night, as Mama puts leftover shurbat ads in Kanzi's lunchbox, Kanzi gently pats Mama's back. "Can you please pack me a turkey sandwich instead?" So she was worried about being look a little different in her class. Her mom wanted to do the best thing that her mom can do, which is to feed her the favorite stuff from home, but she wanted a turkey sandwich instead. Before bed, Kanzi writes a poem as she hugs her quilt, which smells like Tetya's home. It's very nice. She's wrapped up in her quilt. And the poem, if you can just see it, it says, "Quilts, colorful, mismatching, unity, held together, common and beautiful." And that's a lot like this quilt. Held together, beautiful. And it's a lot like this Afghan, the knitting. And it's a lot like this one. She writes a poem and she hugs her quilt. And here we are the next day. So the next day she's going to school. The next day, and she sees that girl who teased her yesterday. She's not cool. The next day, Molly says, "Mrs. Hagen said I hurt your feelings. I'm sorry I laughed at your mom's language. It sounded funny," she said. "It may sound funny to you, but that's only because you don't speak Arabic," Kanzi says. She felt a lump forming in her throat. "My parents say that the learning of different languages makes a person smarter and kinder," she blurts out. "Oh, whatever," Molly says, and she was skipping away. And she's back. It looks obviously like she's at school. It looks like a school desk, school teacher. Mrs. Hagen calls Kanzi to her desk after lunch. "I found this notebook on the floor, and I opened it to a lovely poem, she said. It was describing my Tatia's quilt, Kanzi says. When I visited her in Egypt, she gave it to me. My Tatia only speaks Arabic. Mrs. Hoggins smiles. That's special. I would love to see your quilt. Can I bring it to school? Kanzi asks. Sure, bring it tomorrow, Mrs. Hogan says. So she's being a cool teacher. So, here's the next day at school. The big quilt. Here's Mom. Here's the teacher. The next day, Kanzi unfolds her quilt in front of the class. Her heart is pounding. This is my quilt from my Tatia in Egypt made, she says. Wow, that's cool. I want to make a quilt like that, Dishwan says. Maybe we can all make one for our classrooms, Claire shouts. Miss Hagen nods and smiles. On Friday, Mrs. Hagen makes an announcement. I have an exciting project for all of us to work on. Kanzi's mom is here to help us make a quilt for all of your names in Arabic. So she had a box of stuff and she's ready to go. As Mama steps forward, Kanzi thinks how beautiful she looks. Shukran for welcoming us here, Mama says. Shukran is the good thank you. Kanzi and I will help you write down your names in Arabic, and you will copy your name onto your own quilt piece. Molly is not enthusiastic about this project. There's Molly. Who cares about Arabic, she says. We live in America. My mom says we should only speak English. In response, Mrs. Hagen starts writing words on the board. Algebra, coffee, lemon, and sugar. Does anyone know what these words have in common? She asks. Algebra, coffee, lemon, and sugar. They come from Arabic words, Kanzi whispers. Mrs. Haugen nods. Learning other languages, besides the one we grew up with, helps us make the world a friendlier place. We can speak non-English languages and still be American. I wonder what my name looks like in Arabic, Brianna says. And here the kids, they're starting to get their names written. Kanzi and Mama write down everyone's names. Neat, shukran, Amaya explains. Everyone copies their Arabic names into sheets of colored paper, and then they decorate their papers with glitter and jewels and place them on the table for the glue to dry. On Monday morning, you will see a beautiful class quilt hanging in the hall, Mrs. Hugler tells them. You see they're doing the project. And now everybody's going home. Kanzi is nervous when the bell rings on Monday. Oh, they're coming in. Okay, so they're coming in. They're coming in on Monday. Kanzi is nervous when the bell rings on Monday and the kids file into school. What if the quilt didn't turn out nicely? She was very worried. Everybody's chit-chatting and stuff, and she was nervous. The quilt hangs on the bulletin board outside Miss Haugen's classroom. The colorful papers with their Arabic names have been cut into different shapes and sizes, and all the pieces are stapled together. Kanzi stands in awe, reading names in Arabic. Claire, Leah, Molly, Ivy, Jack, Lucas, Brianna, Chang, Dishwan, Sam, Angela, Lily, Amaya. Teachers and other students come to stop to look at the names, trying to figure out whose name is whose. Wow, look at those beautiful letters. They are like drawings, they say. And they made beautiful drawings and beautiful names written in the Arabic language. And she turned all of those colorful papers and stuff like that into a quilt on the bulletin board. And everybody's looking. And that was all their names from their classroom. Wait. That was really, and here's the next page. That was really cool project, Kwanzi. Shukran. Kanzi's class tell her. I'm sorry I made fun of you, said Molly. I didn't realize how important different language is. Can you write down my mom's name in Arabic? I want to give it to her as a gift. Okay, Kanzi says. Do you want to go swimming soon? And she gives her a hug. I love to, Kanzi nods, as Molly gives her a hug. And now there's two quilts, two name quilts. This is the original Arabic name quilt, and then there's another name quilt here. Leaving the class a week later, Kanzi stops to look at the Arabic quilt for one last time. Right across from it, it's surprised to see another collage of names in a language that she doesn't recognize. Those are my classmates' names in Japanese. Cora says, our teacher was inspired by your classroom's idea, and she asked me to help write everyone's name in Japanese. Aren't the languages a beautiful thing? They can truly unite us. And then here's the names of the classmates in Japanese. That's a beautiful quilt, too. In her room that night, Kanzi holds Tatya's quilt tightly as she writes a poem for her parents. And here's her poem. I have to turn it so I can read it. Shukran, Mama and Baba. So that means her mom and her dad. Thank you. We know that shukran means thank you. Shukran, Mama and Baba, for always encouraging me to be proud of speaking different language and speaking it out loud. Languages can unite us together like a quilt, so I will always speak my languages without guilt. I will never be ashamed to speak in the language that is so unique. Babkek, Mama, Babkek, Baba. And then there's some Arabic words here, and talks about the authors. And then here's the end of this book, and her quilt is in the drawer at the end of the day. So that's the reading of the story of the Arabic quilt. I liked it because we're all in this together. Okay, thanks, and have a great Thanksgiving. I'm thankful that we share.